Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Transformation Tuesday. I am so glad that you all decided to join me this evening for Transformation Tuesday. We have such an exciting topic tonight. 7 mistakes people make to feel loved and accepted. But a question I want you guys to keep in mind as we get ready to go through these 7 mistakes is am I in a place to really recognize love or what love is, right? So I want you guys to think about that as we're going through this, right? So as you all know that I am D.Renee, the transformation specialist, and I support women with overcoming obstacles to help them elevate in life and business. As a now certified transformational life coach and licensed therapist, I support women with being able to rediscover who they are, overcome self-esteem and self-confidence issues, in addition to assisting them with being able to eliminate limiting beliefs so that they can walk freely into their purpose in order to be able to create the life that they desire to have. So as some of you guys may or may not know, I went through my own journey of transformation. Maybe about 9 or 10 years ago, I went through my own journey of transformation. I struggled with self-esteem issues, not loving myself. I had some issues that happened in my childhood that contributed to a lot of the way that I felt about myself. Hi, Valerie. Thank you for joining. And as a result of these things, I went into, as a result of me not loving myself, I went into relationships, waiting for someone to love me the way that I needed to basically love myself. It wasn't fair that I put that responsibility on someone else. And as a result of that, of course, I had failed relationships. I didn't have healthy friendships as it relates to female friendships. I allowed people to use me. I was an assertive. I was a people pleaser. All of these different things. But thank God that I went through my journey of transformation. And that's what I support women with being able to do so that they can have healthier relationships and be able to live the life that they desire to have. So tonight, our topic, this is the month of February. We're still in the month of February. As you guys know, is that we're in the month of February, we're going to be talking about love. So since this is Valentine's month and Valentine month, and we are talking about love and all those things concerning it, what are some mistakes that some people make to feel loved and accepted, right? So let's get right into this, you guys. So one of the first mistakes that people make in order to feel loved and accepted is that people don't heal from their hurt. That's number one. People don't heal from their hurt, so they go into situations and circumstances to where they're not necessarily better. They're not necessarily over, or they haven't necessarily dealt with any of the issues that they currently have going on in their lives. So as a result of that, they're not necessarily in a place to be able to recognize love, but they do it just because they want to feel that love and acceptance, not knowing that that's something that comes from within. And in order for them to be able to feel that, in order for them to be able to receive that, they have to first love themselves. So if you're not healing from the hurt that has happened from past relationships, from maybe things that have happened to you in the past, abuse, trauma of any kind, if you haven't healed from those things, it's going to be very difficult for you to recognize what love is. So you make mistakes trying to feel loved and accepted by not healing what is hurt. So you guys, before I go on to the other steps, I want you guys, if you feel like I'm providing you with value tonight, I want you to share this information, because sharing is caring and sharing is free. So if you feel information may not be for you, but it may be for somebody on your timeline or somebody you don't even know that's not on your timeline that may be shared with. But I'm just here to help make a difference in somebody's life. Also, if you like it, just heart it up. Just give me a lot of likes, and that'll let me know that I'm providing you with value. So that was number one. Number two is vulnerability. People make decisions. People make poor decisions when they're in a vulnerable state of being. They're not able to really recognize what love is because you're making these decisions off of something that you're lacking. And you can't make powerful decisions for yourself if you are lacking and you are seeking to fill a need and not necessarily something that's going to enhance you or contribute to your overflow. So when you make decisions out of vulnerability, you don't necessarily really know what love feel like and what love is, and accept and be able to accept that, because you're not even in a place to recognize that in your life. And as a result of that, then you make these decisions, right? And then it's not in your best interest. And then you start the cycle all over again. You end up getting hurt. You end up having all of these things that's going on. Hi, Darlene. Thank you for joining us. You end up having all these things that's going on with you that's not necessarily in your best interest, all because you chose to make a decision out of your vulnerability versus being able to heal yourself, get through that vulnerability in order for you to be able to create and make decisions that are in your best interest and decisions that are powerful and that contribute to you and your increase and your overflow, and not out of lack and need. So that was number 2. So number 3 is, so Darlene, our first, you guys, if you just joined in, our first 2 things, 2 mistakes that people make is, 1, they don't heal from what's hurting them. And number 2, they make decisions out of vulnerability when they're in a vulnerable state of being. So our number 3 is, people get desperate, thirsty, and they settle. And they lower their standards as a result of this. And when they get in those particular situations, they're not in a place to make powerful decisions for themselves, and they don't really necessarily know what love is, or they don't care, and they give up. And you don't need to do that as long as you do, number 1, you heal from your hurt. You have to heal from your hurt. Or you do these things, you get desperate, you get lonely, you start, wishing and settling, and you lower your standards. Instead of lowering your standards, it's time to raise your standards. And you raise your standards by raising and increasing your self-esteem. You raise your standards by raising and increasing your self-worth and your self-value. Because if not, you won't even know what standards are, because you are recognizing standards from your place of being. And if you're in a low place of being, then those are the standards that you are going to require for someone. And you're not even in a place to be able to feel that love and acceptance from them. So you raise your standards. You don't have to lower your standards for anybody, period, for anybody. Unless you're in that place, you don't have to be desperate. You don't have to be thirsty. You don't have to settle. You wait for what is waiting for you. But you have to be in a place that you are healing, you are growing, and you are in a place where you can give your full self and your full value to someone else. So you guys, if I'm providing you with value, please, please, please share, like. If this is not for you, it could be for somebody that you know. So that's number 3. Number 4, stop compromising on your needs and your wants, right? That's not love. Sometimes that we compromise so much on the things that we want and the things that we desire just so that we can feel love and acceptance from people in a person or family or whomever, to where we lose ourselves in the process. And as a result of us losing ourselves, we are not even showing ourselves the best love that we can. And so how can we necessarily, by doing those things, be feeling that love and acceptance from other people? You don't have to compromise on your needs, your wants, and your values in order to feel love and acceptance. As long as you, number 1, go back to healing what has hurt you. You heal what has hurt you, and then you're able to be able, thank you, Darlene, and then you're able to be able to move forward. Thank you, Valerie. You're able to move forward with the things that you desire to have, but you don't have to compromise. And you don't compromise by knowing your self-worth, knowing your self-value, and knowing that you deserve more or better than what is given to you, either by family, by a spouse, a mate, a boyfriend, girlfriend, whomever this person may be. You should know your value. And if you don't know your value, then guess what? we need to work on that. We have to work on that, because none of these things these are the mistakes that people make in order to feel that love and acceptance. And you don't want to continue to be in that same cycle of dysfunction, because it's not getting your needs met, and it's not getting you the things that you desire and want in life. So number 5, you guys, oh yeah, this is a big one. Sex. Yep, I said it. Intimacy. Let me just clean it up a little bit before Facebook kick me off. So intimacy. Sometimes we make the mistakes of thinking that, oh, if we just go jump in the bed with a person, or we just give them all of ourselves, that's gonna make that person love us, or that's gonna make that person accept us. And oftentimes it does none of those things. You go in with this wrong mentality, trying to feel that love and acceptance from these people or that person, thinking that they're gonna love you because you are, giving yourself to them. And that's right, Darlene, these are non-negotiables. Thinking that they're gonna, give you everything that you want and desire. They're gonna be with you, and you giving yourself to them, and you're sleeping with them, and you're doing all these things, thinking that and it doesn't yield you the results that you want. We have to stop putting ourselves in those situations. 1, because we haven't healed from the hurt. 2, we're vulnerable. We're making decisions out of vulnerability. We're desperate. We're settling, and we just give up. And so we start subjecting ourselves to things that we don't necessarily need to subject ourselves to, like sex, immediately, and we hadn't even established nothing. We just think, oh, okay, well, I can do this. Or we get into these situationships. Yes, I said it, situationships, that's based on this intimacy part of it. And as a result, we still end up hurt, because it's not what we want. It's something that we compromised on, and we did just to try to gain that love and acceptance. And it's not working in our best interest. It's time for us to do something else, guys. It's time to do something else. It's time to try a new way, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and expecting a different result. And that's not realistic for us, right? So number 6, we become people pleasers, and we are overstanding, right? Not understanding, but overstanding. We become these people pleasers. We think that if we do all these things, and we go all these places, and we give this person all this, that, and the third, that they're going to love us, they're going to accept us, they're going to appreciate us. They're going to want to be with us. And as a result of them, of us just giving, and pleasing. But guess what? You lose in the end. I was there. I used to be that people pleaser. I was, before I went to my transformation, that was a part of my issue. I was a people pleaser because I was giving everybody everything that I wanted or that I needed. And that's what I was doing for everybody else. And I was just trying to make everybody else happy. And while I was making everybody else happy, I was suffering on the inside. I wasn't happy. I wasn't satisfied. My emotional needs wasn't getting met. I wasn't feeling fulfilled in any of the relationships that I may have been in, not even in the friendships. No, I mean, even just being there for people in general, friendships, doing all these things, making sure I'm there, being supportive, doing this, doing that, and not to still feel supported in my own emotional need and value. So we do all these things as a mistake to try to feel loved and accepted. But in the end, we're just reinforcing, I'm not lovable, I'm not acceptable, because we're doing things out of a place of lack and need versus a place of strength and a place of overcoming and a place of being healed, right? So we can get through this, and you can do all these things, but that is just some of the mistakes that we make. And those are some of the things that we have to work on healing. Those are some of the things that we have to work on processing. So Darlene writes, that won't keep the no. I think you're talking about sex, and you are absolutely right. It will not keep them. They're gonna, you can give it, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do with it for that moment, or however long you choose to put up with it, and then they're out. And then it's on to the next. You might get lucky, but 9 times out of 10, it's not even a good possibility, especially if they recognize that you are in a place of vulnerability. You are in a place where you don't love and accept and appreciate yourself. Right? So And the number 7 thing is, you guys, listen to your intuition. I cannot stress this enough, you guys. We have to listen to our intuition because we get into situations that our intuition has told us no, no, red flag, stop, don't do it, proceed with caution, stop. What? Look, I know mine has. I know my intuition has told me these things over and over and over again, you guys. But it is we have to listen to our intuition. I firmly believe that our intuition is our sixth sense, ladies. Our intuition is our sixth sense. I believe that God gave us the intuition to warn us, not only just about certain things, but as a nurturer, as a woman, he gave us these things so that we can intercede and we can be there to protect our kids, our families, our husbands. You know, he lets us know that, hey, something is going on. Something's not right about this situation, or this might not be something that you need to do. And he gave us these things so that we can protect our families, but it wasn't just for our families, it was for us too. We have to use these things to help protect our heart, because if we don't, we'll fall into situations like all of these because we haven't necessarily, because we're looking for that love and that acceptance. But we have to understand that our intuition is our protection. It's our protection, you guys. So we have to be able to protect us by listening to our intuition. You're not a psychic. You're not somebody who can just, know all these things. But guess what? We have to listen. And our intuition is not something that just, I got this feeling or anything like that. It's something that's lingering. It's there constantly. It's constantly telling you something about this situation. It will not leave you alone. And that is your intuition telling you that something is not right. And I know we've all said it. Something ain't right. And when we say that, that means something isn't right. And we have to pay attention, you guys, right? So that's what we have to do. So the 7 mistakes that people make in order to feel love and acceptance are: number 1, they don't heal from what is hurting them. Number 2, they make decisions that are out of vulnerability while they're in a vulnerable situation that's not in their best interest. Number 3, they become desperate, thirsty, and settle, and then they lower their standards about the things that they want, the relationships that they want, and the things that they desire to have in life. Number 4, they compromise on their wants, needs, and desires, meaning whatever it is that this person, you're going to do whatever it is. Okay, if they tell you don't go back to school, you don't go back to school. And you know that you've been wanting to go back to school forever. These are things that you compromise on. Okay, I won't go back to school. I'll just stay at home. But you've had this desire. You wanted to do this. You have to do all these things. But you do all of that just to feel that love and acceptance from the other person. Ali said God equipped women with an extra sense, intuition. That's what he did. I firmly believe that. I 100% believe that. And so number 4 was compromise on the wants, needs, and desires. And number 5 was the intimacy, sex. Yes, intimacy. We give ourselves, we throw ourselves in these situations, giving up our bodies just to try to feel that love and acceptance. And then we don't get the things that we want in return. Guess what? We've all been there. I've been there. Other people have been there, I'm sure. But guess what? It's blessings on the other side of that. And the blessing is you make a powerful decision for yourself to be able to wait, to be able to not engage, to be able to do the things that you desire to do, not out of a place of need, lack, and longing for somebody to love and accept you. And you feel like you have to do this, but you don't have to. Right? So number 6 is being a people pleaser and being so overstanding to situations and circumstances. We don't have to, because being a people pleaser, you're not necessarily getting your needs met. You're doing everything you can do to please these other people, but your needs aren't being met. So that's another mistake in order to feel love and acceptance that we do. And then the last thing is, in order to feel love and accepted, is you don't listen to your intuition. We don't listen to our intuition. I've been so guilty of that. I have been guilty of it, and guess what? Every time my intuition come back and kick me in my butt, you guys, because it has told me that that wasn't right, and guess what? It wasn't right. It was not right at all. Imagine what your life would be like. Just imagine just a little bit what your life would be like if you just listen to your intuition. Like, do you know how many situations it could have kept us out? I'm including myself, you guys, because I've been guilty of it. Do you know how many situations our intuition could have kept us out of? How much heartbreak it could have kept us out of? I mean, if we would have just listened. So you guys are going to hear me talk about intuition a lot because I firmly believe in it. I thoroughly believe in it. And I definitely think that if we learn to pay attention to ourselves and trust us, then we will be able to not make some of the decisions that we make in order to compromise and feel love and acceptance from people. So you guys, those are the seven mistakes that people make in order to feel and get love and acceptance from others, right? So if you are in any of those situations, and if you need assistance with and support around getting yourself, loving yourself, getting back on track, and wanting to be able to renew your life and rediscover who you are, then definitely click the book now button inside of my Facebook Live and inside of my Facebook at D.Renee, the Transformation Specialist, or you can go to my website at drenee.org. That's DRENEE.org. Click the book now button and let's have a free 30-minute discovery session about how I can support you. So if you need any assistance at all, feel free to also, you can DM me on Facebook. I do answer my DMs throughout the day. So I will, reach out to you and respond back to you. And if you're watching this on the replay, make sure you put hashtag replay on there. And again, share, like, because if this information isn't for you, it's for somebody else. And I definitely appreciate you guys joining me tonight. Join me every Tuesday for Transformation Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also tomorrow, you guys, join me here tomorrow at 8 p.m. for Meeting in the Ladies Room Conversations. Ladies, we have a great time. We have fishbowl conversations. We talk about any and everything. Whatever we pull, that's what we talk about. And we welcome your feedback. We welcome your interaction, your participation. If you have topics or questions or anything that you want to add to that, then feel free to DM me those if you want to remain anonymous, or you can just join us on the live in order to be able to do that. So thank you guys again. Again, if you need my support, I'm here for you. Just hit me in my DM or hit the book now button. I look forward to seeing you guys and speaking to you guys soon. You all have a blessed and wonderful evening. Good night.